Beats craze.
Yeah, and then, you know, the Moors continuously say that, you know, black means pale and it means all that. And I said, well, damn, somebody's being disingenuous because it don't only mean that. And the only reason it means pale because I actually went and defined some more of those words. When you take fire and burn something, actually, when you refine it, it shines. That's where the definition gleam and flash and pale come into the context of the word.
Exactly.
And they can actually use a better word to define it than pale.
Yeah. Definitely. The Moors are crazy, I'm coming to find out.
All right, brother Natural Tahuti.
Yeah.
Dr. Ali Muhammad is about to go up against ISUPK and the Hebrew Israelites. If you was the head, and this is going to be this Monday coming up, if you was to talk to Dr. Ali Muhammad, what advice could you give him? What would be the advice you give him?
Turn that TV down. Is Grandma watching that? Turn it off. This is what I would say to. She's not watching it. Turn it off so I don't be distracted. If I would give Dr. Ali Muhammad any advice, is to number one, to make sure that no matter how aggressive they get, for him to stay centered. Because the more he stays centered, the more he will be able to deliver the message, the scholarship. I would tell him, don't try to get too much into the basket. I believe they're going to do the basket. They're going to try to attack the scholarship. They're not only going to try to attack the scholarship. If I can learn anything from history and how they did Brother for Life, I think that they will probably try to attack him personally as well. And don't underestimate these dudes. You understand what I'm saying? Now, me particularly, I wouldn't have agreed on that topic. However, Ali Muhammad, at the end of the day, I guess he's a Muslim. And I would say, I call him and Wesley Muhammad, I call both of them Islamic reformers. Because they're trying to reform something that is actually broken, and they're trying to connect that with African history. And see, it's a two-headed sword because you can connect Islam with Islamic history because black folks actually carried the mantle for Islam. And the very elements, the ingredients that is in Islam, there are some African elements of spirituality that is infused within it. But I would say that it is from a more remote and ancient perspective, it is definitely not an African religion based upon the fact that it's a subjugation of the woman, and it's a murder cult. It's also a direct. It directly wars with the principle of the divine feminine. The divine feminine takes the back, all the way to the back. They don't even mention the divine feminine in that particular religion. So anytime you take the woman out of the equation, and we're not taking the man out of the equation, it's got to be a balance. It's got to be male and female. It can't just be the male up here and the female way down here.
Okay, all right. Come on, Tahuti. Try to keep it short, brother.
Okay.
All right. To my brother, the Guerrilla Hebrew. What advice, if you had an opportunity to talk to Brother Tazoriak in the ISUPK, what advice you would give them? Because I know you are a researcher, and I know you've been studying Dr. Ali Muhammad's moves and the way he teach. What advice would you give your brothers going up against Dr. Ali Muhammad?
I would tell Tazoriak.
No, not you, Tahuti. I'm talking to the Guerrilla Hebrew.
Oh. So you got to take him out of here.
I actually had an opportunity to speak to that brother yesterday, and you know, we were discussing some of the things, and basically, Ali Muhammad is tricky. Like I said when I called in on the live stream, Ali Muhammad is one of the more skilled guys in the conscious community. He definitely does a lot of research, and he'll definitely come to you with some of the more rare, less popular documentation to back up and substantiate and prove his point. So what I would say is just do the most research on him, watch as many of his lectures, you know, as possible, and see the type of information that he's bringing, and learn how to properly combat it, you know, that way.
Okay, beautiful. Brother Natsu Tahuti, you always wanted to go up against the Hebrew. Well, I bring you one of the best counter punchers in the game right now. You talking about Floyd Mayweather? Well, now you are side by side one of the greatest defensive fighters and also an aggressive puncher. What would you go in? What would you use going up against the Guerrilla Hebrew right now? What would be your strongest argument to ask the Guerrilla Hebrew? Ask him a question.
The strongest question that I would have to ask him is what happened to Mother God? Yahweh is Father God, but what happened to Mother God? Yahweh had a wife, and the original Hebrews were a matriarchal people because they were African, and I wouldn't even say they were Hebrews. I would call them Israelites, because there's a dichotomy here. How the hell can you be a Hebrew Israelite? That's a misnomer. Hebrew is a language. Israelite is a citizen of Israel. So is it that they are Jews, New Age Christians? What happens here? Talk to me.
Go ahead, Brother Hebrew.
Well, as far as our identity, you know, we definitely identify with Israel primarily. Hebrew is more of like something that's ancestral. You see that throughout history. For example, when you have the Hasmonean dynasty or the Maccabees, they were referred to as the Hasmoneans in reference to their great grandfather. So that's where the Hebrew number comes in, but we more specifically are the Israelites. But as far as Mother God, when you read in the scriptures and you know the ancient scrolls, we don't have the concept of a divine feminine. But actually, I take that back. We do. The concept of the divine feminine is the concept of wisdom. Wisdom is to be looked at as your mother, your sister, and your woman. You see what I'm saying? And you are supposed to chase to constantly obtain as much wisdom as you possibly can. And that's where the feminine aspect of, you know, a divinity comes into play.
Can you define what the Shekinah is?
The Shekinah? No,
yes.
I honestly, I can't say I'm familiar with the term.
Okay, it's the Hebrew word that happens to be one of the names of the Great Mother. It's the, some people in the Christianity would say that that's the Holy Ghost. So the Shekinah is basically the Holy Spirit of God, but it's actually the divine feminine. Okay, the problem here is this. In the ancient scrolls, what you're saying, there is no concept of divine feminine. But if we go into the biographical evidence of the particular people who come from out of that particular geological region of the world, and we look at their literal history outside of those scrolls, we can find the existence of Mother God. Now, the problem here is that the problem is that in the particular book of the Bible and the scroll, the Old Testament and the New Testament, the Tanakh, she has been literally removed from the religions. When it comes to Christianity, Judaism, and Islam, those are the three-headed, and no disrespect to you, my brother, I respect you. I'm just giving you my scholastic point of view. I call them the three-headed dogs, because these are the three-headed religions that actually is warring against the original concept of God. And so whenever there's an attack of the original concept of God, we say that is a reverse polarity, and we say the three-headed dog. It's just me interpreting that. So in these three religions, Christianity, Judaism, and Islam, there has been an old age war, a war that I'm very familiar with because I've done the research on it. A lot of people say, well, this nigga's crazy. You know, this nigga's crazy. He's talking about the black woman is God, because they're not hearing me, because they're not listening to the research. They only continue to think that I'm talking about these sisters that are out here today. I am talking about them, but I'm also talking about the Creator, the whole the cosmological consciousness that is within the universe. Our ancient ancestors called that the Great Mother, and the original Hebrews who were Canaanites.
Okay, well, okay, so let the brother, let the Guerrilla Hebrew answer you.
Okay.
I mean, what I'll say is, how do I answer that? When you're dealing with, when you look into African culture, especially when you look into Egyptian culture, of course, other or the divine feminine is highly exalted. But what I see here is a disconnect from order of business, right? Like even on your lecture, when you're talking about we come from that triple darkness, which is the divine womb. We all know before a child is in a womb, a sperm has to swim into that egg, and that fusion has to happen. So, in all actuality, when you really look at it logically, you have to start in the testicles of your father before you can be anywhere else, because that's where you were swimming around at before you went into that divine womb. You see what I'm saying? And that's where I think the disconnect is from the order of business. You see what I mean?
Yeah, but I only have it.
Is that an actual fact, or is that more innovation by man?
All right, don't interrupt. I'm gonna bring you up. Just bring your live screen there.
Do we actually begin as a what is called a sperm cell? Is that an actual fact, or is that what we've been taught?
Well, from what I understand, it's an actual fact. But if you can present something, on the contrary, hey, go ahead.
Okay.
All right, but hold on, Tahuti. Hold on. All right, brother. Guerrilla Hebrew. Natural Tahuti has been researching and doing so much study on the black woman is God. He's saying that he can prove that in the Bible. He can prove it through history. Can you disprove him? Is he misreading? Is he misreading history? Do we have any real understanding of the Bible? Can you find the black woman as a god in the Bible, brother?
No, you cannot. You cannot find it. You can find our people, the Israelites, worshiping different black female deities. You can find in the book of Acts, the 19th chapter with Diana of Ephesus, which is the same as Semiramis or Astarte or Ishtar. You know what I'm saying? You can find that being worshipped, but you can't find the Bible in any righteous instance referring to a female deity of any sort. You see what I'm saying? So if he could prove it maybe in some other way, but as far as according to the Bible, I mean, Polite made that mistake by even trying to go there. For example, Polite used the verse in the book of Jeremiah, I believe, to try to substantiate that God was feminine. And in the verse just before that, God is referred to as he 4 times in it. It's clear in the scripture that God is, the whole concept of the Most High God, and also the Elohim or the Elohim, which is the angels and who the word ignorantly calls Christ, are masculine. You see what I'm saying? So, like I said, if he could try to bring some other things to substantiate that, that could be possible. But as far as in the scriptures, I don't see that being possible whatsoever.
And this is not being arrogant. I'm just going to tell you, the science ain't in. Am I still there?
Yeah, I hear you.
Okay, yeah, the science is not in Brother for Life. You know why? Great Mother didn't choose him to bring this message. If it was, he would have the science. He don't have it. It's not inside Rasul settings. They say the black woman is God, but let's see if that is an actual fact. It's not. Because the science is not in him. The word of God is not in him. In Acts 19, verse 27, and I'm only paraphrasing, it says, and our craft that is in danger of being known, that we should despise the great goddess Diana of Ephesus, and her worship should be destroyed. Her temple should be destroyed, and her magnitude should be something to that effect. And the Bible literally says, whom all of the world and all of Asia worship.
Right.
So this actually, there's a dichotomy here. Because if the world was actually worshiping the mother, that gives us an
Hold on, brothers. I'm
indication.
trying to get my camera right.
This gives us an indication that there is an actual competing of this male religion, a patriarchal religion, versus this matriarchal religion, whom the whole world had worshipped.
Let's go and hear what the brother Guerrilla Hebrew got to say about the black woman as God. Go ahead, brother.
Real quick, I'm going to take you somewhere real quick in the scriptures. And I'm going to show you how, see, the scriptures, man, there's a reason why we believe in these things, man. They real cold, okay, and they illustrate a lot of points. Real quick, I mean, it's in Genesis 25. Where is it at? Yeah, right here. This is Genesis 25 and 28. And Isaac loved Esau because he did eat of his venison, but Rebekah loved Jacob. Now, if you're familiar with the biblical story, you know Jacob's name was changed to Israel, and he progenerated the 12 tribes of Israel. The key thing is that Rebekah loved Jacob. Jacob or Israel is synonymous with being a mama's boy, okay? And that's what we see with the majority of our people. Our people do cling to their mothers. But now, we have the brothers who get into this, the Kemetic ideology or whatnot, and they see that concept of the great mother. And because of our natural original state as a mother boy, brothers tend to cling to that. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I definitely do see a lot of. As far as Acts 19, when he was talking about the whole world basically worshiping some form of concept of the Great Mother, you do definitely see that. But in the scriptures, that's explained as original Babylonian mystery religion with a deity by the name of Semiramis or Astarte or Ishtar, whose name was changed and altered as it went and was passed on to different cultures who all borrowed from that original Babylonian mystery religion. You see what I'm saying? But it's again, when you deal with even the term, the term Yahweh is He is. It's Him. It's He is. There's none next to Him. All is subject to Him, and all was a creation of His. You see what I'm saying?
All right. What I want to ask the Guerrilla Hebrew is, are you familiar with the names of the ancient Kemetic people that Brother Natural Tahuti was bringing up? And if so, what is your opinion about Asar, Aset, and Heru? Go ahead.
I'm familiar with some of the names that he was bringing up. I can't say I was familiar with all of them. As far as Asar, Aset, and Heru, is that where they get the Immaculate Conception from?
Well, no, that's the first Immaculate Conception.
Okay.
Recorded all over the world.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. For the record, we don't adhere to that. I know most Christians believe in the Immaculate Conception, but we know that was a concept that was stolen from Egypt. We understand that. But yeah, definitely. I've been hearing a lot about those. I mean, like I said, actually, in doing my research on Ali Muhammad, I was actually watching Ali Muhammad expound on the whole Immaculate Conception and what it was all about. How it wasn't. He wasn't saying that how it was a woman created the son without semen. He was kind of saying about the conditions that they were in were a perfect condition for birthing or something to that effect. So, I'm definitely getting familiarized with those type of concepts and whatnot.
Okay, brother, you want to go in a little more? I mean, you want to answer some of Tahuti's? Because you know Tahuti long-winded.
Yeah, the brother is long-winded, so I want to give me a couple points to key in on real quick, because the brother was long-winded. I was listening to everything you were saying, so just give me a couple points and I'll key in on.
Go ahead, Tahuti.
Okay, if we can go back to the Bible, to Kings 1:11:5. For Solomon went after Astarte, if I'm saying her name right, Ishtaret, the goddess of the Zidonians, and after Melkah, the abomination of the Amorites. That's Exhibit 1. Exhibit 2 is Kings 11:33. Because they have forsaken me and have worshipped Ashtoreth, the goddess of the Zidonians, Chemosh, the god of the Moabites, and Malcolm of the god of the children of Ammon, have not walked in my ways to do that which is right in my eyes, and to keep the statutes and my judgments as David his father. And we talked about Acts 19:27, where it says, so that not only this our craft is in danger to be set at naught, but also the temple of the great goddess Diana should be despised, and her magnificence should be destroyed, whom all of Asia and the world worship. We have two other I'm going to bring into the subject, because there are over 40 different sites of Yahweh's wife.
All right, let the brother go. Let the brother answer some of that. Go ahead, brother Hebrew.
As far as that is, I mean, when you read each of those verses, what you can see going on is the Most High God having a problem with that. And those were Hamitic or Kemetic deities that our people were worshiping in that time, especially Solomon, because Solomon loved the women that was native to Africa. And that is what kind of led him astray in worshiping their God, worshiping that great mother God. That was a problem. And you see what the Most High God did to Solomon for that. He split Israel as a united federation in half. Well, not so much in half, but basically split Israel, right, as a result of worshiping them deities. Now I want to show you something though about that Acts 19. Okay, so we can read it. We can read it contextually, because this is one of my favorite chapters, and I love bringing this out.
Mom, why don't you spend the night, Mom?
It's Acts. I'm gonna start at 19. I'm starting at the 24th verse rather. For a certain man named Demetrius, a silversmith, which made silver shrines for Diana, brought no small gain unto the craftsmen. So why was Demetrius making such an uproar about Diana's Ephesus being spoken against? Because that's how he got his money, and that's what we see a lot throughout the scriptures. We see the idolatry is always being promoted because there's money in idolatry. There is no money in worshiping a God that has no image, that we can't put an image on, that we can't make idols of itself. You see what I'm saying? So in the ancient world, when you threaten idolatry through worshiping the Most High God of Israel, it was always a problem, because it always hurts somebody's pocket. And especially when you deal with Holy Mother worship. Holy Mother worship got a whole lot of money into it, man. And that's what we can see here being illustrated in Acts 19 chapter. So when you hurt somebody's pocket and come at somebody's great mother, that's when we see these issues coming. But the Most High God was always against it. We see that illustrated in the book of 1 Kings with Solomon, because he was very wroth with Solomon, as it says, over that. Because Solomon did what was not right in his eyes.
Okay, brother Tahuti, I have a question for you, and I have a question for the Guerrilla Hebrew. First question I have for you, Tahuti. Brother Tahuti, I heard you make this statement so many times, and you are going along with this, and I disagree with you on this, but I want you to be able to break it down to the people and tell them why you feel this way. Give them science, because we know the Hebrew Israelites don't deal with science. The Hebrew Israelites think that science is evil. You know what I'm saying? We know that science comes from the root word, which means to know. All right? We deal with the science. Now, you keep making this claim that the seed comes from the mother. You are what your mother is. I disagree with you on that, and I'm quite sure the Hebrew is going to break that down as well. So I know for a fact, Tahuti, that we carry the seed. The seed is in the man's sack. You know, we fertilize that egg.
Okay.
Okay, I'm going to let Courtney get on that too.
That's very easy for me to answer.
Go ahead, brother.
here's what the thing is. You got to understand the climate that we're living in. We're living in a man's world, so to speak. So this is very patriarchal, and so even in the medical field and even in science, they're going to use words to mislead you from the truth. Here's the fact of the matter. The sperm cell and the egg cell are both called gametes. They're both sex cells. That's what they are. See, there's an equality almost, but not literally an equality, because when you look at the egg cell, the egg is the biggest cell in the human body. When you look at the sperm cell brings very little to the table. Actually, the tail of the sperm...
It's an underdeveloped egg.
Right. The sperm of the tail, the tail of the sperm does not survive in the egg. That actually disintegrates. There's only the centerpiece of the, and I don't remember the scientific name of it, but there's only the centerpiece of the sperm cell that exists inside the egg. And actually, what it does is it gives it an electromagnetic shock. And it also contributes to 23 chromosomes coming from the man. And out of those 23 chromosomes, it either contributes an X chromosome or a Y chromosome. Now, this is patriarchal language. The sperm cell does not fertilize. That's misleading. There is a fusion. There is a joining of energies that take place in the sperm and the egg. So what the sperm does is take the egg that at this point is not dead. The egg cell actually has an electromagnetic energy, and that egg cell pulsates. There is actually the blueprint of the human body inside of the egg. The blueprint for the human body is not in the sperm. All the sperm contributes is the energy that kicks the whole damn thing off.
All right, Tahuti. All of that,
it's like when you put vinegar and baking soda together. All the sperm cell does is ignites the egg. The egg is actually drawing the sperm towards it. The sperm doesn't know where it's going. The sperm is being magnetically drawn to the egg.
All right. All right. Now, hold on. I thought y'all brothers knew about science. I thought y'all brothers deal with science. You know as well as I know, once that sperm is ejaculated into the womb of the woman, it travels through the tube. It travels up and around until it gets to that egg. You see what I'm saying? Now, if that's case, if your theory is correct, then that means what the woman need us for? What do she need us for? Hold on, Corey. I want to bring it on over to my brother, the Hebrew. The Hebrew got to go in on this and break it down, brother.
First off, people say we don't deal with science. That's a lie. First thing I'm going to take you to is Daniel, the first chapter, starting at the 3rd verse. So the king spake unto Asenath, the master of his eunuchs, that he should bring certain of the children of Israel, and of the king's seed, and of the princes, children in whom was no blemish, but well favored and skillful in all wisdom, and cunning in knowledge, and understanding science, and such as had ability in them to stand in the king's palace, and whom they might teach the learning and the tongue of the Chaldeans. So the Israelites deal with science. Yes, we do deal with science. And science is rooted in the scriptures. We just don't deal with all forms of science. And here's the reason why. I'm going to show y'all something. This is 1 Timothy, the 6th chapter, the 20th verse. O Timothy, keep that which is committed to thy trust, avoiding profane and vain babblings and oppositions of science falsely so called. Because there is science that is falsely so called. There is theoretical science. And that's what we're dealing with here. You see how they're trying to take away from what the sperm does. At the end of the day, the sperm goes and finds the egg. I want you to see that egg go up out of that vagina and find the sperm and make that happen. As he says, the sperm kicks the fusion off. Without that fusion taking place, there is no life. So the sperm is key. Now, real quick, another form of science, metaphorically, because this man, the brother Natural Tahuti said that the Bible is allegorical. The Bible isn't always allegorical. You have to learn how to, as the scriptures say, rightfully divide the word of truth, because it's an algorithm in mathematics that you're dealing with when you're dealing with the scriptures, and we understand that. But real quick, this is Romans 11, starting at the 16th verse. For if the first fruit be holy, meaning the seed of it be holy, then the lump is also holy. And if the root be holy, so are the branches. When you're dealing with concepts like root and branches and seeds and fruits, we're dealing with the seed is what makes the definitive decision on what it is. At the end of the day, I believe you have some type of history with the nation of gods and earth, correct, Tahuti?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so we understand that the man is the God and the woman is the earth. The God got to put the seed in the earth for the fruit to spring up out of the ground. That's undeniable. So the seed is key in having a definitive say-so in what the child is. And what proves that even more is the fact that the man gives the Y chromosome. The Y chromosome decides whether you're male or female. So with that being said, the seed does determine who you are.
It's an ill question. It's just a real simple question. And he can address what we said about humans starting off as females after this. It's kind of pertaining to it.
Go ahead.
In that Bible, when you're talking about Adam and Eve and God creates Adam and Eve, did he create two grown-ups or did he create two babies?
Number one, first thing you got to understand is the whole Christian concept of that story that I'm sure that you're familiar with is not the story or the version that we adhere to. He created races of people during that time. Adam was merely a selected person out of the many people that were already on the planet Earth to create a nation based around. That's what you deal with when you deal with creation of Adam and Eve. So I know a lot of people ask the question, well, did Adam have a belly button? Yes, he wasn't the first person on the planet Earth. The Bible don't say that. The Bible said that mankind was created on the fifth day. Adam was chosen, selected out of mankind on the fifth day. So even in that, you see what I'm saying? So
he had a mother.
Yeah, he had a mother and a father.
Okay.
Okay, all right. Now, I have a question for the Hebrew, for the Guerrilla Hebrew. Where is Israel? Is Palestine the divine land, or is it East Africa? Where is Israel, and is Palestine?
The women and men starting off as women in the womb.
Real quick, what you got to deal with scientifically is the gonad. What I see, and this is what I see too much, I see one side one way and one side the other way. I don't see a balance. And the scriptures tell us a false balance is an abomination. When you deal with the gonads, you understand that concept. You understand that a baby is created neutral. And depending on the SRY, like the brother said, it'll develop a penis. And if the SRY is not present, then those gonads will later develop into ovaries and such, for the female reproductive organ. But real quick, Israel, dealing with the concept of Israel and the concept of Africa. And I've been talking actually to Unc about this because, you know, the Taji community, we need to have a discussion on the Africa concept, because I hate the Africa concept. Now, a lot of people might get it twisted when I say that. I feel like the concept of Africa that all of us have is a colonial concept that the Cracker gave us in the first place. Africa, Asia, and Europe are all one continent. Nothing separates the three. You see what I'm saying? So when we deal with that, when we deal with the whole concept of Pangea, and we understand that all continents was together at one point in time, the fact that we sit here and box ourselves into one continent is ridiculous. And some people say, well, look, Israel is a part of Africa. I mean, you can say that. But if you ask me, Israel, Europe, and Asia are all a part, and Africa, Europe, and Asia are all a part of the same place. You see what I'm saying? Now, when we deal with Israel and Jerusalem, Israel, according to the scriptures, when you understand the scriptures, you understand that Israel is identified as the Garden of Eden that is spoke about in the book of Genesis. What proves that is Galatians, the fourth chapter, the 26th verse, when it tells us that Israel is the motherland. It says Jerusalem above is free and is the mother of us all. You see what I'm saying? So according to the Bible, Jerusalem was the original place of Eden. Has Africa flourished definitely as something that's like a paradise since then? Yeah, because after the flood, Israel and Jerusalem hasn't been in the same condition it was originally in. You see what I'm saying? But as far as the whole Africa concept, we have to have a conversation about that, because we cannot deny the fact that it is a colonial term that we've been kind of given. And our history is not boxed into just one location. We're all over the earth, man. We are the salt of the earth. Like the scripture says, Jacob is the salt of the earth. We are the salt of the earth. We made all kingdoms of the earth great on one form of fashion or another. So we gotta take that into consideration. You see what I'm saying?
That's peace.
If I may, I would agree with the Hebrew on that particular concept that the whole entire planet we were on. I think that most people identify with Africa because the oldest, according to the research, the oldest biographical evidence or the oldest geological evidence and remnants of human survival they find in, I believe it's East Africa, at somewhere in Kenya, in the areas of the Great Lakes region. Some of the oldest bones in existence they find there. However, I'm in agreement with you. I believe that there were coaches right here in America that was just as great as coaches that was in Africa.
This is where I want to go now. This is where I want to go. And this question is for you, Natural Tahuti. Do you believe in the whole totality of the Medu Neter, of the writings on the wall? Do you take that as fact, as true, the Medu Neter? Do you believe in all of that, knowing that the white man is all up in there? I mean, do you take that as facts?
Listen. The thing that I love about Egypt, period, is that it's very visual and it's great for bragging rights. However, I don't take literal the writings of Egypt because not only were the what do you call these people? The geographers, the anthropologists. Not only are they tainted by their European Western culture, they don't have the qualification to even understand in totality African concepts, being for the fact that they never had a high culture.
Listen to what I ask you again. Check it out. We always say that the Bible is not, the Bible is mixed with falsehood. The Quran is not pure. What about the writing of ancient Kemet on the wall? Are those pure? Do you take that as in its purest form?
No, they have been changed. They have been mixed, diluted, and tampered with also by the male priesthood.
Okay.
They have been tainted by the male priesthood, and those were Africans that did that. Not only did the Africans do it, but there were other cultures that came into Egypt that were siding with them. And so maybe their changing of the cosmogony may have been influenced by their constant wars with outsiders. Because the evidence shows in pre-dynastic Egypt, it was a matriarchal culture. When you get up into the 5th dynasty and above, and even in some of the 1st dynasty, you can see a gradual changing. Like, let me give you an example. You know, this is common sense. How many people know about a goose? You know what a goose is, right? You know goose lays eggs, right? So what is the male goose called?
Gander.
A gander, right? Okay.
Hold up, Tahuti. That's what I want. I want you to deviate because, we in the so-called Kemetic community, we always talk about, can you read Hebrew? We ask the Hebrews, do you know Hebrew? Well, I'm asking the Kemetic community, do you read the Medu Neter? Have the Medu Neter ever been really deciphered? Do we really know what the Medu Neter is saying if we don't really read it?
I'll put it to you this way. We are talking about a complex writing system. Hey, yo, get the dog out of here, man. We're talking about a complex writing system that has over 4,000 characters. How can you take 26 phonetic characters and translate the entirety of the Medu Neter? Now, they may have reached, they have gotten somewhere, some gains in translating it, but they have not translated the Medu Neter in its entirety, because that is a language that has meaning on top of meaning on top of meaning. The meanings in the Medu Neter are layered based upon your initiation into the mystery system. Based upon your initiation into the mystery system, the more you were initiated into each classroom, the more you learn a different secret about the Medu Neter. Because understand what Medu Neter means. It means the sacred speech, not sacred writings like the hieroglyph says. It means sacred speech, meaning the words of God.
Can I say something to that?
Go ahead, brother.
Now, and that's the interesting thing about, you know, the metal nets and brothers that's into that Kemetic thing, because when you deal with the scriptures, right, we done got so deep into this Hebrew language that there's nothing that a cracker can tell us about the language whatsoever. We consider ourselves the foremost authority on the language in every form of fashion possible, because we've actually delved into it. Because here's the thing about it. A cracker cannot tell you about your own language. It's impossible. You see what I'm saying? That's not his. So when you take the language and you have that attitude and that mindset that this is mine, this belongs to me, this motherfucker can't tell me nothing. He could give me a general guidebook or introductory course to it, and once you get into it, you master that. We have mastered the Hebrew language. But why have we done it? Because we mastered it with the attitude that this is ours, it belongs to us. So we can linguistically compare. Right? If y'all familiar with the Hebrew Israelites, y'all familiar with the two characters, Jacob and Esau, right? Now, when you deal with the character Esau, when you look it up in the Hebrew dictionary, it'll tell you that Esau means hairy.
Yo, come on, man. I think I only got like about maybe a half hour left.
Refers to hair or being hairy in the Hebrew language.
Yeah, I'm going to have to reset it.
Compared that
you know, I only did it for like, we've been on for about an hour.
Of that word, which means to be wasted away or ruined or desolate. You understand what I'm saying? So that's the thing about the Middle Nessa is when I see brothers leaning too much on a Champollion translation, you got if you feel like that's your language, you got to get into it and you got to master it, and you got to have that mindset that the hell with what this cracker says, this belongs to me. I understand what's being said in this because it's mine. You see what I'm saying? And that's how we become the master of the Hebrew, because that's the mindset that we went into studying the Hebrew with.
What you got to say about that, Brother Courtney?
As far as the metal netta is concerned, I do agree with you about if you can't speak it, then if you can't speak it, there's not really much you can speak on it.
Who's really deciphering the metal netta for us? Is it the white man? Is it our people? Is it our is it our professors? Who's really giving us the breakdown?
What difference does it make who's deciphering?
It really makes a big difference. What you mean?
Why would it make such a big difference?
Because number one, let me answer that question. We know if the white man is trying to tell you what something mean, he done lied to us ever since we came in contact with him, brother. What you mean it don't make a difference? It got to make a difference. If the white, hold up, brother, hold up.
I'm saying that.
Courtney, hold on. If the white man won't treat you right, what makes you think he's going to teach you right? So we already know that he's not going to give us the truth. He's going to try to make us, discombobulate us and confuse the hell out of us. So that's why it means something. It really matters, brother.
It doesn't matter who's deciphering it. It matters if you have the people out there, if you're deciphering it for yourself. At the end of the day, that's what it's all about, because anyone could lie to you about a certain situation if the money's right, and it seems as though a lot of these things are money and political driven. So, of course there's secrets and things about ourselves that they don't want us to know, but at the end of the day, are we doing the education and the scholarships ourselves to find out these things? The answer is no. A lot of people are just doing research, which means to search something already that's been searched. Read is again. So the thing is, people are not doing the education and the scholarship on their own. It doesn't matter who's deciphering that at this point. Get out there and learn it. Then we can speak on it. My thing is this. I know a few words in Spanish, but if fluent Spanish around me, I'm lost. You dig? That's all right. At the end of the day, that's it.
Okay, that's what's up, family. Now what I want to get into right now, Brother Natural Tahuti, is the extraterrestrial. We have a big conference coming up, and the conference that's coming up is with Brother Polite, Phil Valentine, Delbert Blair, and they dealing with a conference dealing with the extraterrestrials. Brother Polite says, let's say peace to Brother Larry is in the building.
Like power, Brother Larry.
What's going on, Larry?
Grace.
All right. Brother Polite says it was the extraterrestrials that built the pyramids, that we are the extraterrestrials. What is your take on that, brother?
Okay, here's my take on Brother Phil Valentine, Delbert Blair, and Brother Polite. Okay, now y'all know who I am, right?
Yes, sir, the bad boy of consciousness.
The bad boy of consciousness, right? I think they all a bunch of fucking frauds and quacks, period. And I'm going to tell you why. I don't mean to bring the personal shit in, but here's the point. Yeah, there's a lot of space out there, and probably there might be some goddamn extraterrestrials out there. I don't know. I don't have enough knowledge to talk about that. I think it's a goddamn distraction. And yo, tell them to turn that down, man. Go upstairs, because you're on punishment. All right. That is a goddamn distraction. This is the same old trick that the white man come with. Yeah, when the white man first tried to say that Asians and white people came all the way from goddamn Europe, walked across the burning sands of the desert with no shoes on their feet, never built a home, never built a goddamn pyramid, and came all the way into Africa and built pyramids. When they couldn't prove that shit, then the goddamn aliens became the focus. So now you mean to tell me you got a Bill Valentine and a Brother Polite? I think this shit is a bunch of distraction, and it's robbing the people of real African science.
All right, let me ask you, Brother Courtney. I know you don't feel the same way dealing with the aliens coming from outer space, building the pyramids. You believe in that there's aliens on this earth that don't look like us, that's around here. Talk to us about that, brother.
I didn't say that.
Well, go ahead. You would say what you say.
All right, this is what I say about the aliens. The universe is large, extremely large. There's something out there. I'm not gonna have the audacity to say that I'm the only thing smoking in this big ass universe. Now then, do we need to be worried about that at this time? Have I seen an alien? Have I had an experience? Have I been abducted? No. I think we have bigger fish to fry on this planet right here, down to earth, so to speak, for lack of better words, down to earth, on things and topics that we need to worry about. You know what I'm saying? This is my thing about the aliens. If aliens are real, then they're just as bad as the guy that's sitting around letting all these starving babies die in Africa and everywhere else. Those aliens are just as bad. Why don't they drop us some technology?
So do you believe in the aliens or what? Extraterrestrial.
Absolutely.
Oh, okay. Let me go on over to the Guerrilla Hebrew. I know you believe in aliens according to your Bible. You believe in the extraterrestrials, brother.
As far as the concept of alien, when we deal with the alien, we don't deal with green men from another planet. We believe that the people who are piloting those chariots are the angels of the Most High God. Now, as far as this whole alien concept, I agree with Tahuti. It's a motherfucking distraction. It's a distraction from this. And everything Polite do is a distraction from this. If y'all can't see this, this is a picture from the Haitian Revolution of a cracker getting decapitated by my forefather, Jean-Jacques Dessalines. Okay?
Yeah. Like Father.
Yeah, this needs to be the focus. And you know what this is written about in? It's written about in the Bible. I just want to add that in real quick. But real quick, here's the thing about Polite, okay? And I'm not even going to defame him in this. Polite learned from Malachi Z. York, right? And when you deal with Malachi Z. York, he did a lot of things. Polite observed those things, and Polite has now surpassed him in what he does. And that's the whole thing with this whole extraterrestrial concept, right? And I figured that out when I was having a conversation with a Narubian a couple weeks ago, and I was bringing up some things that Polite had brought up as far as with the black diamonds of the carbon oil. You remember Sonetta when he was on the live stream, right? And when I'm asking different Narubians about it, they have no idea what the hell is going on. So what Polite did was monopolize on Malachi Z. York. But yeah, so that's what Polite is doing. He's monopolized off of his so-called master teacher. You see what I'm saying? And now he's going and he's got everybody's head in the clouds. A couple weeks ago, we Hebrew Israelites, so we go on the street, we teach. A couple weeks ago, some Latino brothers that came by, and they were talking about, I feel like the answer is in the stars. I said, man, you don't even know what the hell is going on the planet Earth. And you sit here talking about the answer is in the stars. That's what the hell is wrong with a lot of our people. They goddamn head is in the clouds all the time. And again, they're not focused on this. This cracker got a boot in your goddamn neck, and that's what you need to focus on. Nothing in the stars going to tell you how to do it.
I remember hearing Brother Polite say one time, a while ago, that he has been abducted one time.
He said that?
Yes.
Yeah, that's how you learn the language.
Oh.
Hey, you don't know. The brother probably been abducted before. Farrakhan said he went to the mothership. He was on the wheel.
Yeah, man. Niggas said they...
What you got to say, Brother Larry? Let's hear Brother Larry.
y'all niggas get at me for teaching the black woman is God?
Brother Larry, what's up?
Well, here's my little 2 cents on the matter, right? I think people listen to white people too much, right? And white people talk about stuff like that, right? See, you have to really understand how white supremacy operates, right? The average brother that concerns himself with conscious issues don't really concern himself with how the white man thinks and how the white man applies white supremacy. I'll give you an example. Remember you had a preacher in Florida. He was going to burn the Quran.
Yes, I remember that.
And you seen all the news agencies
That's right.
covering this story.
Mm-hmm.
And you seen a general in an active military theater do an interview and ask him not to burn the Quran, and he said, I'm burning the Quran. And you see the president ask him not to burn the Quran, he said, I'm burning the Quran. And you see the news media covering this, right? This is how white supremacy is projected. By them covering that one white man, they gave him more power than a general in an active military theater, than the president of the United States, than presidents of foreign countries, because they gave that one crazy ass white man the ability to speak to the entire world. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
Now, this you have to understand is how the white power structure gives power to a white person. You understand?
Right.
Now, let's say a Minister Farrakhan holds a millionaire march. It gets covered by the press, right?
Mm.
It gets covered by the press because there's a million people in it. You understand? They don't cover Farrakhan just talking. Barack Obama, they cover him just talking. That is the projection of the power of the state of this country. Now, how do they give that to one crazy ass preacher in Florida? This is white supremacy, okay? So now, when you understand that, their dialogue dominates the airwaves, you understand that at some point, we're really addressing their dialogue. When we establish points like ancient Kemet was black.
Try to make your point quick, brother.
We're really addressing them because they're the ones that's saying that it was not black. You understand? At some point, we have to get to where we are talking to us, about us, without them.